All right, so now that our Pro Cut has been calibrated, we're gonna make our scratch cut. You want to take your blade and move to the center. But first you want to make sure your carousel centered and tightened. We've already done that step. So you want to put your blades in the middle. Now that we have our scratch cut, you want to zero it. Then you want to back it off one click. And you want to do the same thing on the back. Once you have a scratch cut, you want to zero this. You want to back it off one click. And you want to take your blades all the way to the center of the rotor. Right about there is good. And then you want to take your blades back to zero and then do about half a click. Make sure your blades are locked down tight. And then you just want to take your knob here, twist it, and push it in until it locks. And then you're good to go to make your cut. So first on the MCO machine, you want to make sure all your measurements are backed all the way out. Then you want to take your spacer and put it on the machine. And take your rotor and put it on top. Make sure it sits flush, and then you want to take your clutch. Clutch always goes next. And then your spacer, and then your threaded material to keep it on there. You just want to make sure everything's tightened down. Still going? Okay. And then next you want to make sure this is all the way in. And then you want to do about 4 turns. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you want to loosen this up. And you want to center your 2 blades on the rotor, keeping in mind that you want this to stay flush right here. That looks pretty good right about there. And you want to make sure your blades are backed out all the way. I'm going to take your blades in. And you also want to make sure this is locked down so this doesn't slide anywhere. And then turn your rotor's rotating, and then you want to take your blades to about the midpoint of the rotor, and you want to make a extremely light scratch cut on your rotor. Just as it starts scratching, then you want to take your dial here and zero it on the inches scale, and then you want to back it off 2 clicks on the scale. And you want to make sure you do this for both sides. You're going to have scratch cuts on both sides. There's a scratch cut. 0 your dial on the inches scale. Back it off 2 clicks, and then you want to take your blades to the inside portion of the rotor.
And locking down on this one. Right
And
here.
then you want to go back to 0, 1 click. Back to 0, 1 click. Tighten down your blades. And then we're going to make a fast cut right now. And usually you want to do 1 or 2 fast cuts and then 1 slow cut to make sure the rotor's smooth. Alright, this is the first step of fitting our rotor onto the Amco machine. You want to make sure this hub is tightened down to the rotor. And you want to turn it right side up and find a spacer that fits in the back of the rotor. That one's a little bit too big. So it's that one. This is the spacer we want to use because it fits flush with the back of the rotor. Break!
You see where it's still at 8.5 right here, now it's down to 7.
Today we're going to be testing parallelism with our micrometer here on our rotor. Our specs for this, which we found on Pro Demand, our discard thickness is 1.063 and our minimum thickness after refinishing is 1.118. So you usually want to check your parallelism with 6 measurements from a micrometer. Just come in here. Tighten it down until you hear the ratcheting mechanism. And then you want to pull it off gently, lock it into place. As we can see here, this is a 1 to 2 mic, so it's automatically 1 inch, 0.175 plus 8, so 1.183. So we have enough thickness to be able to refinish this rotor. All right, today we're going to be showing you. Today we're going to be showing you the steps to measuring your rotor and machining it. Right now we have our rotor set up for our lateral run out. We hooked up our dial indicator. We have our dial indicator set to 0. You want to make sure that your rotor's tightened down with some sort of spacer or washer or something to make sure that there's no wiggle movement in between it. And then you just want to take your ratchet and a socket and turn your rotor. Typically you want no more than 10 units of movement to make sure that a rotor is good for machining. Just usually want to do a full 360. As we can see here, our rotor's good to go. It has about 5 units of movement.